Hey guys, Shawn McAnalley here with Dr. Bill McAnalley, Chief Science Officer of Aroga. Guys, Dr. Bill wants to talk a little bit about phytoestrogens and cancer and what the studies show nowadays. Dr. Bill?
Thank you, Shawn. Yeah, as we mentioned, about 30 years ago, people said, don't take phytoestrogens because it might make estrogen-positive breast cancer grow faster. When I heard that, it didn't make any sense. Because as a pharmacologist, you have to look at the binding effect and the binding power of a molecule to a receptor. And the way we block receptors is we get the stuff that binds a receptor that doesn't have near the effect as the natural chemical. In the case of phytoestrogens, they do bind the estrogen receptor, but they have 1,000th the effect of estrogen. So you have estrogen in your blood, hitting it all the time. And if you put phytoestrogens in there, when they bind it, they're not going to have the stimulatory effect. See how that works?
Yep.
That's called in pharmacology competitive inhibition. We studied that. So it didn't make any sense when they first said it. And now we can look at Pubmed. There's 3,889 Pubmed references on cancer and phytoestrogens. 32 from MD Anderson saying that was wrong. Phytoestrogens help kill breast cancer, especially estrogen-positive breast cancer.
Man, that right there is, most of the stuff out there, you still hear people saying that because that's what they're still practicing because that's what they were taught.
Well, I get calls all the time from people saying, I found out this has a phytoestrogen in it. And I said, most of the drugs they take are phytoestrogens for cancer. I mean, they inhibit that receptor. Like Taxol, for example, was one of the first ones. And thank goodness for their liver enzymes, because Taxol itself is not very good. But whenever it goes through the liver, if you have activated cytochrome P450, which adds hydroxyl groups onto foreign chemicals so that they can be eliminated because they become more water soluble. OHs are water soluble. And when that happens, Taxol becomes 100 times more effective at killing breast cancer. And you know what stimulates that? Cytochrome P450? Phytoestrogens.
There we go.
So, anyway, there's all these articles that you can get off PubMed. There's thousands of them. And I just wanted to show you that it's really frustrating. Show this to your doctors. Tell them to do some research so that they can make you better, because these phytoestrogens are synergistic with the chemo. They make it work better with less chemo. So I've tried to get this across. I thought it was wrong when they first said it. I thought, well, what I really think is they don't know anything about pharmacology. And unfortunately, doctors spend most of their time learning how to diagnose disease. I taught at Southwestern Medical School for 16 years. And we taught 2 hours, that's 2 clock hours, 8 days a week for 8 weeks. So that's 16 hours, and that's their pharmacology. That's all their medical. That's kind of.
So 2 hours a week for 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's 16 hours.
Gotcha.
And I asked them, I said, why aren't we teaching a lot? I mean, they don't know anything. And they said, well, they will learn from their detail salesmen, because they're so specialized now. Like a cardiologist really just uses 5 drugs. And they'll have 50 different detail salesmen trying to sell their drug that affects each one. Say why it's a little better or it's cheaper. And what they've done recently is they've combined two, like angiotensin converting enzymes, they combine with a diuretic. Now both of them were approved separately, and they used to write the prescription separately. So they combine them, and they go to the doctor and say, look, now you don't have to write 2 prescriptions, just write this one, they get it all.
Mm.
So used to you could get your monthly supply for $20, now it costs $400 or $300
Yeah.
for the convenience of just swallowing one pill.
Yeah.
And it's all a game. I wish that it didn't happen sometimes.
Oh, I know. You know, that reminds me of something too when you say that, you know, that they're not educated that way. That really puts a block on them, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't, it takes away their ability to really decide what's best for you. You know, I can think of an example of that happened in my line of work in the automotive business. Everybody was specialized for the longest time. So you'd have a guy that did engines, you'd have a guy that did transmissions, you'd have a guy that did electrical and this, that, and the other. Well, by the time the guy put the engine in it, the car was so daggum screwed up it wouldn't even run because he didn't know nothing about hooking it up back up right electrically. So then you'd have to send it to the drivability guy. And then that guy tried to have to fix whatever that guy screwed up just because he didn't know no better. I mean, and that's kind of what you run into in this same thing. When you don't have all of that knowledge, you end up with something really screwed up. And I mean, in the case with a car, I mean, you got time with that thing. But in a human, you know, you may make it, you may not make it, you know. I mean, the one good thing we do as people is our bodies heal themselves, where cars don't, you know. But the automotive industry turned around, and now technicians do it all. So you can either do it or you can't. Sad thing about it is there's a lot of them out there that can't, you know. But thank God there's people out there that can, so it could get your car back on the road for you. But that specialized stuff and not teaching people things all the way around, terrible idea. Terrible. And I've seen it in a different industry, and I can see the effects of learning all of it and then going and practicing it, and then you get better throughout all of it. So guys, I hope that this helped you. I hope my explanation made sense to you. I know it makes sense to me, and it probably makes complete sense to any other automotive technician watching this. So at least you guys will understand what I meant by that. But Dr. Bill has so much insight on all this stuff. He thinks way outside the box. He always has. He doesn't just take what somebody says as, you know, the gospel, if you will, or solid fact. He always wants to look into it and see why. And a lot of times you see that what we think as humans, we don't hardly know anything. And we're learning more and more all the time. And I'm just glad to be part of this journey with Dr. Bill because I learned so much from him. I'm not confident that, you know, I can't get sick because we all can. You never know. I mean, I've breathed a lot of diesel smoke, so no telling what'll happen to me later. But I'm confident to know that the discoveries Dr. Bill has are on my side, so at least my body has the best chance, you know, of making it, you know. And I'm proud to be part of this, and you watching this and learning about this is one of the best things you can do for yourself. Guys, until next time, this is For the Health of It.